What is going on, guys? DBG here, and we already know some of the historic teams that 2K are putting into NBA 2K18. We already know, I think it's the 96 Heat, the 98 Knicks, who else is it? It's the 2013 Memphis Grizzlies, which I'm 100% for. I'm 100% for the 2013 Grizzlies. They did make the Western Conference Final, and that was a great team. But there's the 2006 Grizzlies as well. The 2006 Grizzlies, where Powell was the only player who averaged more than 14 points per game. Their second best player was Mike Miller, who wasn't even as good as he was in his rookie year. And then they had Shane Battier, who just played defense. That was a kind of a weird team to be seeing in this historic list, which means that I'm not that optimistic. So what are we going to see now? Are we going to see like a 2001 Celtics team with Paul Pierce and Antoine Walker? What could we see? Let me think of some average, very average teams. Are we going to see a 2014 Charlotte Bobcats? Like what? Like they're putting in slightly above average teams now. But anyway, I'm going to be making a list of 5 teams that need to be in NBA 2K18. These are 5 new historic teams, and I'm going to list them from the ones that I'm not really too bothered about, and then the last 2 are two teams we definitely need because of 2 specific players. So basically, the 2012 Thunder are not on this list because I'm not really that fussed about getting a Kevin Durant that's basically the same as the Durant now, a lower Russell Westbrook and a lower James Harden. I'm not that fussed about that team. So that team's not on this list. At number 5, we have got the 2009-2010 Los Angeles Lakers. You might be thinking, why haven't I picked the 2009 Lakers? They won the finals in a sweep as far as I remember, and this team only won it in 7 games. The reason is that the 2010 Lakers does have Ron Artest, our Meta World Peace. That team was slightly better, like 2K wise, than the 2009 Lakers. They do have Andrew Bynum, who was one of the best centers in the NBA at the time. You've got Pau Gasol, again, one of the best forwards in the NBA at the time. You've got Lamar Odom, who's an incredible 6-man. I'd love to play with Lamar Odom. He'd be basically like a Ben Simmons from this year, but can shoot the ball. You've got Jordan Farmar, who can shoot the ball and dunk a little bit back then. Vujacic can shoot. Luke Walton was terrible. Well, wasn't good. And then there's Adam Morrison, the GOAT, who I definitely want to use in 2K again. And then you've got a guy named Kobe Bryant. You might have heard of him, but this was arguably his peak almost. This was kind of when he started to decline slightly. He declined slightly the next couple of years, then he got injured and declined a lot. This was like the peak of Kobe. Obviously, he wasn't the best in Game 7 of the finals, but he was still unbelievable. I still think they definitely need this squad in 2K18. And number 4 and 4 tied, it's a San Antonio Spurs team. So either the 2013-2014 team, which I think was arguably the greatest team of all time. The way they played in that finals, they would have beaten this year's Warriors and the 96 Bulls. But that team was unbelievable. You got Tim Duncan just before he took a major hit. You've got Manu, who was, Manu had declined by then, but he's still a good player. You've got Danny Green, who could shoot. You got Kawhi, who was just coming into his own. You got Tony Parker, still somewhat in his prime. You got Patty Mills doing well. You got Thiago Splitter. You got Boris Diaw. You got prime, well, not going to say prime Boris Diaw, but he should have been finals MVP in my opinion. Then you've got shooters like Matt Bonner, Marco Bellinelli. You've got big men like Aaron Baines. You've got Nando DeColo off the bench, who for some reason, why does basketballreference.com think Nando DeColo is a power forward? As far as I remember, no, he's a point guard /2, but I can't even judge American sites anymore. They think Luka Doncic is a small forward, so I'm just going to completely ignore that. Sorry about the tangent. I'm looking at this squad and just in shock that they say Nando DeColo is a power forward. And then also you've got the 2006-2007 San Antonio Spurs, the San Antonio Spurs team that swept the Cleveland Cavaliers with LeBron James in the finals. That team, I honestly think that the Suns should have made the finals that year. And the Suns, if the Suns had an NBA championship, Mike D'Antoni would go down as one of the greatest coaches ever, and Steve Nash was one of the best players ever, but they didn't, and the Spurs won. This team was really nice as well. You got Brent Barry, shooter, can jump a little bit. You got Matt Bonner, again, a shooter. You got Bruce Bowen, a defender. You got Tim Duncan, obviously in his prime. You've got Fabricio Alberto, the starting center. You got Bino Udrih, who's okay, I guess. James White is a flyer. He can jump very high and very far. You got Tony Parker in his prime, finals MVP. You got Manu Ginobili in his prime. You got Michael Finley in there. This is just, and Robert Ory, you got Big Shot Bob. So this is just a really, really good, just overall team. And I definitely would like to see this team. I'd like to see one or the other. I don't think both of them there's any point, even though they seem to have two Grizzlies teams. At number 3, we've got possibly the most underrated team of all time. And it's the 2011 Dallas Mavericks. This team lost their second best player, Caron Butler, like halfway through the season. They also swept the defending champions and beat the Miami Heat's big 3 in the finals. This team was unbelievable. Like, everyone's saying that the Heat choked. To be fair, like, LeBron didn't have that good of a series, but the Dallas Mavericks did a great job defending him. But at the same time, people seem to forget, they swept the Lakers. They swept the LA Lakers, who had just come off back-to-back championships. This team has got Alexis Ajinka, who's just big, who'll be handy to have in 2K. You've got JJ Barea, who had the best series of his life in that final. You've got Corey Brewer, you've got Caron Butler, who well, he was injured but was good at the very start of that season. You've got Tyson Chandler, who's one of the best defensive centers in the world at that time, if not the best. You've got Brendan Haywood, who's just big. You've got Jason Kidd, it's probably his last really good year. You got Jan Mahimi, who's just big, didn't play much in the playoffs. You got Sean Marion, who had a big playoff run. You got Steve Novak, who can just flat out shoot. You've got Dirk Nowitzki. You got Deshaun Stevenson, the next Michael Jordan apparently. You got Peja Stojakovic, who can just flat out shoot. Then you got Jason Terry as your 6th man. This team is going to be great in 2K, and it was one of the best, like, it's one of the better teams of all time. People are saying it's one of the worst teams to win a finals. No, it's not. No, it's not. Like, this team was really good. And number 2, we've got the 92-93 Phoenix Suns team. This team again was really good, led by Charles Barkley. The reason that it's number 2 is that I don't think Charles Barkley's gonna be that effective in 2K unless they decide to give him his pink diamond card, which they won't do next year. So you got Charles Barkley, who averaged 25 points per game that year and 12.2 rebounds. You got Dan Marley, who could shoot the ball and was also a really solid defender and scorer, averaging 16.9. You got Kevin Johnson, you got Danny Ainge, you got Tom Chambers, who, even though it wasn't like his Seattle days, could still dunk quite well. You got Cedric Ceballos, who again is a high flyer. But so this team is like really solid, apart from the Charles Barkley. And I'm almost certain Charles Barkley will be in the game this year, so I definitely think we'll be seeing this team in the game. And last up, we have got the 2003-2004 Indiana Pacers. We get to see their top scorer, Jermaine O'Neal, back in the game if this team's added in. Jermaine O'Neal was one of the best centers in the NBA at one stage, and was extremely good for the Pacers that year, averaging 20 points and 10 rebounds. You've also got Ron Artest, Meta World Peace, Panda's friend, whatever he's known as now, averaging 18.3 points per game. And also, I'm not entirely sure, he may have won Defensive Player of the Year award in that year. Not entirely sure. You've got Al Harrington averaging 13.3 points per game. This was the year before they got Steven Jackson. It was also the year before the Malice in the Palace. So I can't see them adding the 04-05 team in because of the brawl they had. But I can see them adding this team in. You've got Jamal Tinsley, who was quite a decent point guard at the time. You've got Kenny Anderson, quite good. Even though he didn't play much, you've got James Jones, who can just flat out shoot the ball. So it doesn't matter how bad his card is, he's going to have a high 3-point rating. And then, oh yeah, the one player that really is why this team needs to be in the game, and it's Reggie Miller. I know Reggie Miller only averaged 10 points per game, but it's 2K. They're going to give him like an 89 rated card, like a 97-3. So I don't really care if he can't do the other stuff. He can just flat out shoot the ball. This team's in the game, and we see a really good Reggie Miller card in my team. That's all I really care about. So anyway, that's the video. Obviously, we do know who 4 of the historic teams are. And the 4 teams we know I'm not that excited about. The 98 Knicks, we already have like the 94 Knicks, like 4 years difference. The 96 Heat, Alonzo Mourning, Tim Hardaway. Am I really that excited about them? No, and I'm a Heat fan. I'm a Heat fan and I'm not that excited to play with that team. Like 06 Heat, great. 2012-2013 Heat, great. To be honest, that was before my time, so I'm not that excited about any of those old teams. The 06 Grizzlies, I'm not excited about at all. Like, Pau Gasol is their standout. They were like one of the worst teams in the NBA 2 years later. And then there is the, who else was it? Oh, sorry, the 2012-2013 Grizzlies. One of my favorite teams of all time. I'm really excited to play with them. You've got a prime Zach Randolph. You've got Defensive Player of the Year Marc Gasol. One of the best centers in the world at the time, and definitely the best center this decade so far. So anyway, Thank you guys for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe.